Hello and welcome back to Chaos Creations. It's been a couple of days, if not a week, since my last video. I've been helping a friend move house, and I've been cleaning up my own. So I've got some of the epic stuff that I've been painting up, and I just want to go through it. Now these are some of the little bikes, a bit more detailed on them. I put them on like little pieces of nice terrain, and they've turned out quite nicely. Now, as I've said many times before, this is for me learning how to paint epic scale. And the one thing I have learned is I suck. I suck badly. Now, these are PLA prints at 0.1. So they're not the greatest of quality, but I still suck so badly at painting. So I'm going to have to really up my game. So I did two lots of bikes. That's the first one's there with him leaping off the edge there. It looks pretty cool. But as I said, yeah, not the greatest of paint jobs. The other bike is here. And once again, it's, for what it is and PLA Plus, it's not too bad a job. You can see the bikes, you can see the dude on top there and his backpack, and you can almost make out an ask. But, it's PLA. I also did some of these skimmers. And they're okay. Once again, I really don't know how to do their paints. I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. I don't know how to really paint epic scale. I used to do Tyranids and Necrons, so, Chaos is, not Chaos, Legions, Imperialis, Traitor Legions. I'm lacking. If this was a demon, I'd have no problems. Reds and greens and purples and pinks. But anyway, so once again, you can see the little dude on top there, and the machine. I just really didn't. Now people are saying, "Oh, well," friends have said, "Well, why not just print them out and use these?" And if you look at this one and you look at this one, you'll notice that the little prong at the front is missing on this one because they are so goddamn fragile that even removing the supports, they snapped off. So, like I said, this is mostly just for me practicing my paint jobs. And they've turned out quite nicely for what it is. I like the terrain bases and so forth. Now, I'm using 40mm bases. They might be on, 30mm bases. I really don't know. I'm just, like I said, using it for paint jobs. Now, there is one other thing. Just let me get it over here. I printed out some of these little guys. Now, they've turned out quite nicely. However, as always, there are two problems. Number one, peeling them off their supports is a logistical nightmare. Yeah, each one of these takes like 10, 15 minutes to peel off the PLA. I'll see if I've got one still. Here we are. So that's it with all the supports on. Now you might think, well, that looks pretty easy. It really isn't. And there's also the prop up, the stem. Every single one of them has snapped off, every single one. So what I might do is we'll paint these up because I need to practice. I'll put a little bit of like support or something underneath it and just pop it on the base and do it that way. Hopefully it's sturdy enough for me to paint. But yeah, there'll be a project for a little bit later on, I think, when I get a bit more time. Like I get time. I'm retired and I still have no time. Okay, so I've done some of the bases. The crater bases. They've turned out quite nice. They're okay. And these are just a flop around the board, and away we go. Now, what I will do is tomorrow I will prop up my game table. I have a rubber mat, beautiful detailed rubber mat, which is 5 feet by 4 feet, which is perfect size for epic scale. And I'll put down all my terrain that I've done, including the highway and something else that I'm working on you haven't seen yet. And that way I can gauge how I'm doing, because it's good that you can make terrain and you can make bits for the board, but until you put it all down there, you really don't know how much you do or don't need. And I want to have a couple of games where it is very, very dense. Like it is literally, building to building combat, and tanks have got to maneuver around places, and I also want the open sprawl. So I have to make sure that I've got enough for both games. Now, open sprawl is easy, just put down a couple of light pieces and away you go. But for that dense city terrain where you might have to go up an embankment, go across the freeway, look down and shoot from there, or if you want to maneuver the Titan around but want to keep the bridge intact and so forth, you have to go this way and that. So I want a thinking man's game of Epic. I just don't want pew 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 pew, you're all dead. I want a game where you have to use tactics. You have to think about things, and you have to, really think about engaging in warfare. Now, as you can tell, I've got a lot of these. These are base toppers, so these will go on top of my 40mm bases. I did find with some of these, even though these are 40mm base toppers, they're still a smidge big. So I've knocked them down a few sizes. I've gone from 100% down to, I think it was 98%. And do I have an empty base? No, I don't think I do. But that works out perfectly. It works out at 98%. The base toppers are wonderful. So today I'm just going to do painting, try to get the drop pods done, and try to get the last bits, a little bit of terrain over and done with, and get that out of the way, because I am working on something else, a new piece of terrain, which if I can get it all printed, I will show off tomorrow. If not, it might take a couple more days. And then what I'll do is, once the terrain's all done, like I said, drop pods, some more bases and so forth. Now, I want to talk to you about something that's I've talked about before. So my friends that within the GW contacts have said that there'll be another Imperialis, Legion Imperialis drop on Thursday, Heresies Thursday as always. And then what I'm thinking is on the Sunday, it'll go up for pre-order. Fingers crossed. That's what I'm hoping for. If that happens, then that's great. And if not, it's got to be early November, but I think it will be end of October. It'll go up for pre-order. And I've noticed the fact that they've recently put up for Horus Heresy Demons. So what I'm hoping is that they'll make their way onto the battlefield for Legion Imperialis. Now, I do have other pieces of terrain. I've got a box of terrain, which you've more likely seen me put on this channel before. Lots of bits and pieces in there. These will be painted up en masse, so these won't be slightly bit decorated, really. It'll just be a black, and then more than likely a brown for some, or a grey for others, and a dry brush in silver. And for the most part, that's going to be it, because these are just tiny little things that you just pop on the board or pop on top of buildings just to make them look a bit more different, and away we go. I do have still a big chunk of planes and so forth to paint, and that'll be over next week. So for those that don't know, here in Australia, it is coming up for our summer. So in summer, paint and glue dry very, very, very quickly. I mean, it can be, I think on next Monday, in Australian weather, it's going to get to 35, which is pretty warm. And I'm hoping on Monday, I can literally en masse paint up a whole lot of miniatures and terrain all in a day. That's what I'm hoping for. But for now, I'm just going to spend a couple of days just relaxing, painting, and go from there. If you have any questions, just ask. I think that's my babbling done. Oh, I am trying out a new filament called eSun. Normally I use 3D Phillies filament, but I have had so many problems over the last month or so. It has just been an absolute nightmare. It gets down to half a roll and it gets caught, it gets stuck, this, that, and the other. And I have been told this eSun is pretty good. Now, it is a little bit more expensive. Now, with 3D fillers, I would buy bulk. So for $120, I got, like 8 rolls, I think it is, 8 or 9 rolls of filament. And that's, free shipping. Boom, away we go. eSun's a little bit more expensive, and I only bought 1 roll just to give it a try. If it does work, then I will start using eSun permanently, because I'll just quickly show you one piece. So that's one piece from the eSun. Now, it's got That's 0.2, but for 0.2, that's pretty darn impressive, I must admit. So we will see. All right, and that may give you a little bit of a hint of what I'm doing. It's very Mordenheim, but it'll be for epic scale. Anyway, that's coming up. And also, before I forget, I have a friend's birthday coming up. That's the end of October. Now, this friend of mine, she has been wanting to get into Warhammer badly for quite some time, but she's a girly girl and likes pink and pink only. So I'm thinking of either buying a small box of Chaos Space Marines and doing, Emperor's Children, hot pink and gold, and just doing that for her. I'm not too sure. So if you see a lot of pink on the table at one stage, don't be surprised. Everyone have a great day. This is Chaos signing off. See ya. Bye.